guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome to Crystal's Copia. Crystal's Copia means a life of abundance, and that's my goal for you. Your best friend Becca, friends for a long, long time. And the crazy thing about that is we've really only lived near each other for 1 year of that friendship. We met in college.
Yes.
I don't even know how we survived college, if we're being
Yeah,
honest.
if we're going to talk about abundance, I don't think we can talk about college.
Abundance. We had some abundance in college. Not all positive abundance, but
yeah,
we survived.
We had a lot of fun, and we have a deep and meaningful friendship.
We do. Becca was traveling. She took 5 days to herself.
Yes.
Which she is a mother of 2 beautiful children, and that is extremely hard. She's also an educator, and she's a very, very full schedule. And she finally gave herself the grace, take a minute, kind of do a reset. So today we're going to talk about meaningful friendships and what that means in our life and having that support system, and also how we support each other and how we support ourselves. We were talking earlier, and we were just talking about basically filling our cup with positivity, and the point of doing that is not only just to feel good and to feel uplifted and to learn the tools to live a more abundant and fulfilling life, but also to change the dialogue that maybe is already going on. We talked about as being entrepreneurs and women and mothers, that sometimes we put this pressure on ourselves that we need to be, act, do, live a certain way, and sometimes that can come off in a negative narrative in our mind, like, yo, you can't be doing that because that's not gonna, that's not where you should be spending your time. You shouldn't take time for yourself because you need to be caring for other people. And we know that that's not true, that you have to take care of yourself in order to be there for others. And so by taking the time to filling your cup with positivity, that you're able to draw from that instead of, that natural narrative of, we shouldn't be doing this, or we're not going to be good enough.
Right, not enough. That's a huge part of it. Is I think that a big value for women is that we think, oh, this is what a woman is, this is what a woman should be. And I think that's true for all people, that we hear these narratives as we grow up, and our minds naturally want to finish the story. And so we grow up on fairy tales or fiction or romance novels or whatever. And so our lives are filled with stories. And so sometimes the stories we're telling ourselves about our own life is the negative self-talk that's in our head.
And that story shows up differently for everyone, whether you're a mom, whether you're, starting a new business, and just knowing that you can change that narrative at any time. And we're going to give you permission to do that.
Yeah, reset right now.
You can change it. It doesn't take, obviously, kudos to you for taking the time to do that.
Oh,
and she
you.
never does that. So if you're watching this video and you're like, dude, I can't take 5 days off of my life. She's never, and the 17 years I've known you, you've never done that. So maybe that's not something that you can do. And so sometimes that's 20 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day.
Right.
Where you're investing in yourself, allowing yourself to do that reset and to change and to live a life that you want to live, because you are in control of it. And you can only control yourself and how you respond to situations. You can't make other people do what you want them to do.
I agree with what Crystal's saying. Like, we have the opportunity every day to make the choice to live our best life, work towards our goals, or if maybe right now you're in a season of like survival. You're like, I just have to get through today. Take that 5 minutes. 5 minutes, lock the bathroom door, no kids allowed. What Crystal's saying about taking time for you is absolutely true. In order to be the best mom you can be, in order to be the best sister, the best wife, the best friend, the best human you can be, you have to be good to yourself. Imagine treating yourself the way that you do others. So I think that it comes down to having those meaningful relationships that fill you. That could be something that helps you with your self-care. Like this whole week for me, which, like she said, I rarely take this kind of time for myself. I'm an extrovert, but I'm a full-time educator. I also work part-time as a worship leader. I also raise 2 babies. I have a husband. Taking the time for myself is really challenging, but having meaningful, I'm extroverted, I have all of these responsibilities, and so sometimes I don't get that opportunity to connect like I would like to. And so having this chance to see Crystal, to go visit my brother, I saw one of my very best friends from that I've known my whole life. I'm not gonna say how long that is.
Like 25 years.
Like not even, it's 12
We're
years.
only 12.
Having meaningful relationships and deep connections can fulfill you, and sometimes that's with your spouse or significant other, but also having long-lasting friendships where you're allowed to be vulnerable and live your story together and speak truth to the lies the other person is saying to themselves.
Sometimes that inner voice can be a real bitch, if you know what I'm saying. So what are 3 ways that you personally would like to share that you're using to pour into yourself and do the self-care that we preach about?
3 things for me for self-care. I'll talk about what I've been consistently doing. It's been a new new thing for me to do any kind of self-care. I've lived my life as a martyr, and I've just said, I'll just give and give and give and give till there's none of me left. Pour back into myself to have more of myself to give. I get up before everybody else in my house. I get up between 5 and 5:15 a.m. I get up, I get my coffee, and part of this morning routine that feeds me, I have a prayer journal that I keep every day. Prayer journal every day, along with I write 10 affirmations, some of which are currently true, and some are like...
Manifesting?
I'm manifesting, yeah, hopeful truths. One of my affirmations is, I am a New York Times best-selling author. I have a morning routine, so that's number one.
Okay. Routines are so powerful.
Yeah, because your life is routines.
Your life consists of your daily habits. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
I just geek out over routines. I love routines. I watch videos on routines. I have mine like, are you ready for this, guys? I'm showing you into the dark depths that is my crazy soul right now. This is my AM routine. It's literally laminated because why wouldn't it be? I can't believe I'm showing you. This is like, literally, we didn't talk about any of this.
This is her, yeah.
I am a freak. I'm telling you. I love it. And I put it on pretty, like, okay, I'm gonna see if I can show you this.
I love that you laminated it.
I have a laminating machine, why wouldn't I? My routine in the morning, and this is different now, I've changed it a little bit, but I have a quote on there. It says, I have a life of abundance. Achieve any goal I set for myself. That was my like morning affirmation.
Those are your affirmations.
That's my morning affirmations. So I'm just saying, like, that is a powerful one. Morning routine. And if you're wondering how to set up a morning routine, a great book for that is The Miracle Morning. They talk about SAVERS, which is like an acronym for silence, affirmations, visualizations, exercise, reading, and scribing. And if you do that every morning, it's going to set you up for success. It's amazing, no matter what your job is. So routines are really great, and a great way to incorporate routines into your life is to take something you already do. Like if you're a wake up and have coffee person every morning, put like that devotional or prayer journal or whatever it is you're trying to implement right next to it.
Oh yeah, you talked about that before. Yeah.
So you buddy habits next to other habits. And you don't want to like go like totally cuckoo in the beginning, just add a couple things. You don't have to go crazy, but so I'm a big fan of your routines. One thing I started doing in the morning is morning pages. So every morning when I'm having my coffee, my devotional is pretty like quick. It's like a little 5-minute. Once I'm done with that, I do 3 full pages of mind, like just brain dumping. Like I don't think about it. It's like unconscious writing everything that I'm feeling. And it took me like a month or 2 to get to a point where I was really writing what I really felt, because I was editing myself, because I thought if I die tomorrow and someone reads this, they're gonna be like,
yeah, and I live too far away to burn that before somebody could get it.
My friend Amanda knows to burn it. She's close by.
That's so good.
So anyways, so that's something I've been doing, and I tell you, it's been really freeing. This is a thing, okay? This is a great little organic thing that's happening here. She is a servant, okay? Becca is a servant's heart, and that's why I was immediately drawn to her when we met, because I saw her serving another friendship that wasn't serving her back. Aww. And so her not being able to think of 3 things is actually just classic Becca. Because if I said, Becca, list 3 things you do for other people, how long would it take?
Yeah, that's true. Like, that's really true.
She probably did it already for me in the 5 seconds that when she got in the door. Like, that's just her personality. So if that's the season that you're in right now, we're here to motivate you and to support you, to say it's okay if you start with one.
The thing I do for self-care that I've only recently implemented in my life is boundaries. I used to think that like, oh, I'm super fun, I don't have boundaries, like I'll do anything, I'm a good time gal. And then it turns out that a lack of boundaries implies permission, and that gives people permission to take my giving for granted. That gives people permission to walk all over me. That gives people permission to treat me however they want if I don't express, you have reached a boundary, I'm sorry, I have to say no.
Because it's also giving you permission to put yourself at the back of the line.
Right, because if you don't have boundaries, at first when people think of boundaries, they think, oh, like the information I share, or how much of myself I allow other people to see or have. But boundaries is also just putting boundaries on your time, boundaries between work and home. Every time you're saying yes to someone else, you're saying no to yourself. So you have to decide, what is the boundary? How much are you willing to give? Especially with me as an innate giver, how much are you willing to give? So you're not able to give it to yourself if it's someone else.
One great analogy that we learned a long time ago, think of it when you're driving on the road, there's solid yellow lines, meaning you can't cross. and we have solid yellow lines when we're doing our time blocking with our schedule. My husband and I still use that phrase. We're like, hey, solid yellow lines on that one. I'm not giving it up. You have to do that because it's so easy. Life is so crazy and busy, and my open space might not be your open space, and you have to be okay with that and know that I'm still gonna love you and I'm gonna find a spot for you. And that's how you can approach people with it too, is they don't have to know what you're doing, right? Just that you can't.
Yeah, that's something that's been big too, is when I set boundaries, I also have learned that I don't have to give them a reason why necessarily. Like if it's Crystal, she's, one of my best friends, I'm going to say, hey, I can't do that because I have these other things going on. But if it's someone who is maybe not in your inner circle, maybe they're in this one or even this one out here that's just like your, the PTAs out here.
Yeah.
And you just had to say no because maybe you had a haircut and you weren't going to move it.
Maybe you haven't cut your hair in a year.
You are important in your own life.
My second self-care thing is, and I talked about this a little in my vlog, is we put an elliptical in the house. I was feeling, bad about my body, the way it looked, and I was stressed out and resentful that I wasn't able to work out. So we were like, what do we like to do? I love watching YouTube. I love watching videos, learning about living a better, more abundant life. And I can do that when I'm doing cardio. And so we put an elliptical in the house. That has been one of the greatest gifts I've given myself, is to be able to wake up or go down there anytime and do it. What movement you enjoy, whether it's walking or going to a gym, and put it in your life because you need it for your mental health. It makes, when we're working out, it makes everything.
Right.
It just makes everything feel better. And I'm not saying go train to, and if that's not your thing, you don't have to go and lift, 1 million pounds, but just find some kind of activity that you enjoy, whether it's dancing. Maybe you just put on, 10 minutes of Beyonce and you go crush it in your kitchen. I don't care what it is, but move your body because you deserve those endorphins.
You deserve to get your natural high.
Exactly.
That's right. Your heart deserves that literally and metaphorically. I think my third self-care is cultivating meaningful friendships. I made a promise to myself this fall that I was not going to allow my work to dictate my life. I got really caught up in the hustle the last 6 years, really got caught up in striving. And I have friends and I love my friends, but I was spending all my time working. Making time for the people in my life that really matter is challenging because once again, we have that connection in our brain that's like, working makes money, money sustains us, money might be the most important thing. If you're too busy making a living, you forget to make a life.
How long have you been here? An hour? 15 minutes? So we don't have a lot of time. We have an hour and a half together. I'm speaking for myself here, but I can tell you that this hour and a half was just so inspiring and cup filling. There's sometimes we call each other and we'll be like, one person will just blah, what's going on? And then we're like, I gotta go. There's a crisis. Like literally right after we start the conversation. But we know that that's what we need each other for. And it's okay because the next time it might be the other one calling and being like, I don't think you need 1 million friends, but I do think you need a couple that you can be vulnerable with. They do need to have the same mindset as you.
Yeah.
In your inner circle. And it can't just be your spouse.
I agree with that. Yeah. You need friends that are not your spouse because you need space outside of your home life to grow and be you. There are seasons in your life that are harder than others to cultivate those relationships. Knowing what I know now, because when you know better, you do better. I think that, like Crystal's talking about, those hard lines, hard line some of your relationships, even if that's a 10-minute phone call once a week.
You can usually tell who's going to be that person for you by how you feel when you're around them. It's a big one because I had people that I wanted to be friends with that I was constantly pouring into or striving to hang out with them, and then I'd leave feeling like I would just feel bad about myself. I would feel like I needed to do more or be more. And that's not what you're wanting. You're wanting to be able to be vulnerable with someone and allow them in and then make you feel good, like it's going to be okay, no matter where you're at in that process.
Right. Your meaningful relationship should be with people who make you want to be the best you, not the best them.
We all have seasons in our life, and our seasons we've always been there for each other, but we've been there for each other more in different phases because there are certain parts of our lives that maybe we can't relate to as much. And so if you're a mother of young children and you're in the trenches of that right now, my advice to you is not going to probably resonate. And we talked about this, and Becca talked about it in her Facebook group as well, is you have to be able, it has to come from someone that in a way that you're wanting to receive it. And that is so powerful because in that season of her life, I'm sure she was closer with a friend that was going through similar things.
Right.
And that's okay. I'm sure I was at the time like, oh, I don't really hear from Becca as much because she's busy with the kids. But now, again, with maturity, you see like she needs something I can't give her right now. And I need to be okay with that and secure in our friendship to know that I'm here for you, I love you. If you need to call me and vent, but I don't really know what to do in that situation.
Right. And like Crystal's always been an entrepreneur and I'm an educator. And so like there are these differences, but really our core values, Matt. We want to put good in the world. We want to help people grow. We love Jesus.
We love Jesus and we want to laugh and
we
enjoy
want to laugh.
Life.
Oh my gosh.
We don't take ourselves too seriously. And we know perfection is not on the cards.
Never.
We're okay with that.
Never, yeah.
And I think that's why we've always clicked, because confident women.
We are confident women.
We've just owned it, right? The third thing I do for self-care, time alone.
Oh.
I think that when you're an extrovert, people think you don't need time alone. But I have a big personality. And when I go do things socially with people, I give them everything. And so when I am done, I am exhausted. And it's not that it's not genuine. It is, because I am excited about life. But then I enjoy the quiet time. And I am not one that I'll go to dinner alone. I'll go to lunch alone. I'll go to breakfast alone. Like, I like that time because I have so much scheduled and so much craziness that in those quiet moments, that's when I really come up with some really good stuff that I know that I need in my life for myself. I think sometimes we feel like it's selfish.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with self-care. I think that's why moms suck at self-care, is because their job is to care for someone else. And so they think that by taking that time to care for themselves, it's taken away from other people. And that is just not the case. So basically what we were saying is cultivate meaningful relationships and find your people. You have to be a friend to have good friends. And you have to be a good friend to have good friends. So if you're, thinking, I just don't have anyone I'm really close with, then being purposeful with cultivating that relationship. So do what you can to show up for them and show up without asking for anything in return until you have built that foundational friendship.
Yeah, I would agree.
Those are the best ones that come organically from but find someone that makes you feel good and makes you feel supported and loved, and then offer them that as well, and those are going to be the ones that stick.
Right. And one of the best things I think I've heard on my self-development journey is you live your most authentic life, then you will unlock authenticity in other people. And so if you can be vulnerable, you don't want to floodlight people and just like be like, oh, here's all of my crap. Yeah. I'm just going to keep you here and tell you everything and see if you're going to stay. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying be truthful, be kind, be invested. That will unlock authenticity in others. And then you'll find out right away if you're compatible or not.
Right.
Just be your own best self.
Like we said before, we're giving you guys permission to take the time, take care of yourself, love yourself, find your people. Obviously, if you're watching my videos, you know that one thing that we pride ourselves in is always learning, always growing, and always supporting each other, because that's what we're about. We're about lifting each other up and being our best selves. Another platform for you to get inspiration like that is Becca's Facebook group, Inspired Living. She's going to talk to you just a little bit about that, and I encourage you guys to go over and check it out. Sign up and join. There's giveaways. There's great information.
Yeah, there's some exclusive content.
Yeah,
in the
exclusive
Facebook group.
content. Becca, can you tell us a little bit about how you came about the idea of starting this Facebook group and why?
About 4 months ago, I was really just struggling. I'm a very positive person. I always have been. I'm very joyful. I see the good in everything, and I found that more and more I was complaining. I was not easily finding the good. I was really just struggling in my relationships, in my friendships, in my work, and everything was hard, which is not like me. I thought there is no way that I am the only person in the world that is feeling this way. So as a part of my self-development journey, I love making live videos on Facebook. I teach theater, and so we kind of would do process videos. And then I thought, I don't want to lose friends because I'm that annoying girl doing all this self-development live videos in my feed. So I thought, okay, I will start a group. I actually started a blog by the same name a few months earlier. I just organically invited a couple of friends, posted about it, and then now we have almost 400 people in our Facebook group, which to me is that's a big number.
That is a big number. I'm going to leave a link to the group in the comments.
And if you join that group, it's much more interactive. I do a live Facebook video with just like a motivational short video every morning at 6 a.m. Central. And then Saturday mornings, whenever I get up and around, and usually on Sundays, I'll write a blog post and put it in. We also are on Instagram at inspired.living.bjy, because my name's Becca Jackson York. And it just really, honestly, I do it for me, but I've found that it's really helping other people with their morning routines, starting in a positive mindset. I have been choosing to see the good, to be the good, to consume love and light and put that back into the world. So both on my Instagram feed and my Facebook feed are now very positive. So when
that
I get
cool?
stuck in the mindless scroll, at least it's good.
Good stuff.
And there's so much grace to be had. We all have those seasons in life when we're trying to make a shift, we're trying to make a change. Because we're committed to being our best selves and living our best life. You gotta live through the crap to get to the good part, and you will appreciate the good so much more when you've experienced the entirety of the human experience, both bad and good. Please, if you would like some daily inspiration, join the community.
All right, thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.